Hey everybody, I'm Axel, the Wondrous Writing Witch. Thank you for joining me today. I hope you're all having a wonderful week so far. It's been a bit of a rough one over on my end, so I got a little stoned and we're going to read some Am I the Asshole posts. I pull posts from this subreddit specifically that have to do with writers or writerly issues. As always, I would love to chat with you guys in the comments below, and if you could do all the other things to please the algorithm gods, like, subscribe, ring that bell, I would vastly appreciate it. Otherwise, let's move on to judging some people. So the first story I'm going to do is Am I the Asshole? I work in publishing. Mom keeps giving my contact info to aspiring writers, and I am rude to them. I am a senior editor at a publishing house. First piece of advice I got when I was hired was not to tell people I work in publishing, because they'll ask me to look at their manuscript. I thought this was a joke, but the first time I told someone I was in publishing, you get one guess what they said. My mother sees this as a bonus and wants to brag to everybody and their dog about my daughter, the publisher, and my daughter who could find the next J.K. Rowling, and my daughter who can part the Red Sea with only a green pen. She finishes her boasting by giving them my contact information. Okay, we live in a world of crazy people. Don't be giving your daughter's contact information out to random people. That's a little terrifying. If I've asked her to stop it once, I've asked her to stop it 1,000 times. And then I'm still getting contacted by the nephew of my mother's butcher or my cousin's girlfriend's cousin saying my mom gave them my information so they could show me their work. I then tell them to get lost. I even have a template that I send back to most of them saying that there's a process in place for a reason, along with outlining said process. If they get pushy, which they always do, I respond that the reason the process exists is so people like them don't waste their time, as I could be using this time to find a manuscript actually worth publishing, which theirs clearly isn't, because if it was, they could go through the regular channels just like everyone else, rather than contact me directly and request special treatment. In conclusion, I am not kind to these people. The consequence of this is that I'm gradually ostracizing my mother from her social circles because people have begun to blame her for me reaming out their acquaintance. Mom has asked me to be nicer. I've asked her to stop putting me in this position. Mom claims that she stopped giving info to people and these are just the stragglers, but they just keep coming. I am not convinced that she stopped giving out my information. I told my mom that if I get pushy after they receive the template, I reserve the right to give them everything I've got. But my mom has said that I'm being really unfair, both to her and the aspiring authors, and that I'm ruining her reputation, so I need to stop being so rude. I said I will deal with them however I feel is appropriate, and it wouldn't have happened if she didn't give my information out in the first place. She says she has learned her lesson, so I need to stop. I said I'll stop when the people stop using her as the reference. She says that I am enjoying humiliating and upsetting both these people and her, and the next time that she hears from me, she's expecting an apology. Am I the asshole? Wow. I personally don't think they're the asshole. It's their job. And their job has a process, and to try and jump that process, especially for like these random strangers, is really kind of weird for the mom to do. It's almost like the mom is trying to like get the clout, that hype of being the publisher, even though she's not. And then she goes as far as saying that she's ruining her reputation. But like they said, like, she wouldn't be in this position if she wasn't giving out her contact information. And this is why there is a process in place, so people, one, aren't overwhelming publishers themselves, like personally, and also people, again, we live in a world of crazy people, and sometimes when you tell them no, they get crazy. I would not want to be in this position. I would not want people giving out my contact information and trying to have them shove their manuscripts down my throat. and then getting offended when I said, hey, you gotta go through the process, through the, go wait in line like everybody else. I'm sorry, but I would not want to be in that position. So would I be rude about it? Again, it depends on the person, but be weird, be rude, stay alive. A crime junkie motto, because again, she has a template. You have a template ready because this happens so often. That's annoying. That's awful, and it just shouldn't be like that. So your mom should hopefully stop giving out your information. There isn't edits. It's a small edit, but edit in regards to people saying that I may be costing us potentially valuable authors. If the material can stand up on its own, then they can go through the regular process and we will be able to identify good writing. If they don't trust that we can't identify good writing, then they should not be working with us. If they do trust us but want to skip the line anyway, then they are not someone we want to work with, as this suggests they want special treatment, which will not end up with me reading their manuscript and is likely to be a recurring theme throughout working with them. Okay. Again, I don't think they're the asshole. There is a process for this reason. I totally understand it is a pain in the ass, but to just try and jump the line is not cool, especially when we have avenues like self-publishing and things like that. There are a lot of factors that go into the publishing of a book, and there are a lot of factors that go into publishing a book, and trying to streamline the process almost always lowers the quality of said book, and we as readers can tell when something is rushed. So please just go through the proper process and leave this poor girl alone. Please just go through the proper process and leave this poor girl alone. Just leave her alone. No, you're not the asshole. Could you be nicer about it? Maybe, but they could also go through the proper channels and not harass somebody. So be weird, be rude, stay alive. Okay, so the second story I have is, am I the asshole for writing smut with my writer friend? I write some pretty explicit romantic fiction as a hobby. My new partner doesn't like it, but has drawn the line upon realizing I sometimes write with a friend/colleague. Am I the asshole for not wanting to stop? First time poster, long time reader. Some background, I, 29, non-binary, have been writing creatively as a hobby for as long as I can remember. In the last few years, I've been to a handful of events related to the romance genre and becoming primarily interested in writing that. I get questions and assumptions about what I write sometimes, and it's not fan fiction, if that matters. I've also made a lot of incredible friends by going to these events and bonding over fiction writing in general. I have one friend, Jamie, 34, female, who I talk to on a regular basis, although we only see each other about once or twice a year because we live in different countries. Especially with the global situation, our main form of interaction has been through writing romance fiction together. I've never made money off of this, and she has made very little over the years, on top of both of us having non-creative full-time jobs. So it's not like either of our livelihoods depend on it. That's part of why I think I might be the asshole. Some of the stories I've written have been on the pretty steamy side, and in a really long really towing the line between plain romance and erotica. I wrote some of these myself and some with my friends, including Jamie. But my new partner Roy, 28 male, has become fixated on what I've written with Jamie in particular, maybe because she's the writer friend I talk and write with the most. I can't emphasize, though, that 1, I've never had any kind of romantic connection with anyone I've written with, and 2, I've told him I'm exclusively attracted to men anyway, but he really hates that I do this hobby when we're writing stuff that includes sex scenes. He says weird things that imply without stating outright that there must be some kind of emotional romantic thing happening between us. He says that it's disrespectful to us and that I can at least see his point of view there. Sorry. Well, He says that it's disrespectful to us, and I can at least see his point of view there, but I find myself getting defensive because he also throws in comments about the romance books being creepy, pathetic, or not real literature. I've spent years learning about this genre only to have him dismiss it based on the common stereotypes. I'll admit that it gets my back up and makes me not want to listen to him sometimes. What does that mean? It gets my back up? I don't know what that means. Sorry, I got a little distracted. I'll admit that this gets my back up and makes me not want to listen to him sometimes, and so I think I just need a reality check. Am I the asshole for continuing to write the stuff that with a friend that makes him uncomfortable? I don't want to be disrespectful, but sometimes it feels that it's more about disparaging my hobby than about Jamie. Edit. Thanks to everyone so much about the comments. I especially appreciate the no assholes here comments that remind me that this isn't really about my writing, it's about my partner's boundaries. We ride to work together every day, different companies, same building, and so I was able to talk to him with a more level head. I told him I'd stop writing romance with Jamie if he wanted, and I also told him, again, but more calmly, but his comments about my hobby were hurting me. He apologized sincerely and said that what was really upsetting to him was that writing took up a lot more of our shared free time. So now the conversation has become more about, can we adjust our schedules to make more time for each other, which is obviously a much more solvable problem. So thanks to Reddit for helping me tackle my problem with a much calmer mindset. We're both kind of hotheads, so the outside perspective is really appreciated. Whew. Okay, another journey there. Part of me saw red when the boyfriend said it was creepy, pathetic, or not real literature. That's not cool. Even if you're upset that your partner is doing her hobby, and her hobby happens to be a little more on the sexual nature of literature, it's just not okay to then insult her hobby because you do not understand it or it makes you uncomfortable. You have the right to be uncomfortable. You have the right to your feelings and wanting a boundary set, but you can't make fun of them. It's not cool. That's rude. Don't do that. And then I'm also stuck on the fact that she had been doing this since before she met you. This is just something she does. You either accept that it is something she does or you don't. So I am glad that they were able to talk it out. I hope that it sticks in that positive light at the end there. But do not make fun of people when you don't understand or are uncomfortable. Just say you're uncomfortable. It's not that hard. It's just... it's a weird defense mechanism and I don't like it. So don't make fun of people when you're uncomfortable. Just say you're uncomfortable and figure out why you're uncomfortable. It's not that hard. Communication is not that hard. Okay, we're gonna move on now. Okay. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend he's not a writer? Probably. I, 18 male, have been with my boyfriend, 18 male, for almost 2 years. Okay, so they're also children. He's an artistic person, whereas I am more of a science person. When I met him, he was also more into science, like me, but he had writing and painting as hobbies, but nothing serious. Okay, well, clearly you're not a writer. Oh, sorry. Does that mean I made a say? Maybe I'll cut that. We'll see. That was a little mean. You know what? He didn't have an editor. Okay. I'm gonna keep going. A couple of months ago, he submitted a short story that he wrote to some kind of writing contest, and he didn't win but ended up in 3rd place. After that, the organizers of the contest invited him and other winners to some kind of dinner, and one of them told him that he had the talent for that, and that he should participate next year again. He was excited, so he took writing more seriously since then, and has been writing a novel almost every day. A few days ago I went to his house and he was writing as usual. After being there almost the whole day, I decided to go home because I was bored and he wasn't paying attention to me. Before I left, he asked me to read the last page that he had written, and it was pretty good. I told him that I thought it was good, and he started saying that he may not go to college in September because it will take him a lot of his time, and he wants to dedicate that time to write. Then we started arguing. I told him that he already dedicates a lot of time to writing, and he barely pays attention to me anymore, and that he should go to college. He was going to study forestry engineering. Don't know what that is, but sounds neat. Because being a writer is not a real career, and he is not a real writer, and I don't think that he's good enough to write books and be able to make a living out of that. He told me to leave the house and hasn't talked to me since then. After I left, I told a friend what happened, and she told me I was being an asshole for telling those things. His sister called me a while after and told me that he's been crying since I left, and that he thinks he's not good enough to be a writer, and that he should stick with studying forestry engineering because that's a real career. I think that I'm the asshole for yelling and arguing with him, but I do think what I said is true, and I'm just stating facts. So, am I the... Okay, I'm gonna assume you meant am I the asshole. So am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend he's not a writer? So much yes. So much yes. I'm not gonna try and yell at you because you're a child, but part of that is because you're a child, and you're just now growing up, okay? This is when you do start to make a career. Him and yourself are both 18 years old. He has not only all the time in the world to improve, but if somebody has already said that he has potential, I have news for you. That means somebody out there wants to read his work. And that is all any writer needs. We don't even need that. We just need to try. And for you to tell him that that's not a real career because you are upset that he is not spending as much time paying attention to you because he is figuring out his passion in life, then that's a different conversation you need to have. You need to have a conversation about, expectations, and you need to have some real expectations about what growing up is like, because you are no longer in high school, you are starting to grow up, and people have to put their time into their careers, into their hobbies, because that is just part of life. So, yes, you're an asshole for telling him he's not a real writer and telling him that he's not good enough to make a career out of it. It's fucking hard enough to just have the balls to try, to just have the courage to put your writing out there, to put the writing out there in the contest that he did, takes a lot of courage. And you are his partner, you are his boyfriend, and it is your job to support him, not tear him down. Asshole. Rude. You have some growing up to do, and I hope that you will come to learn that one really quickly, because otherwise, honey boo boo, you're not going to get very far. That's just mean. Alright. Okay, so this one is similar, shorter, but they're adults. Am I the asshole for telling my girlfriend that she's a bad writer and should be ashamed for charging people for her books? Again, proba-fucking-ly. What is with these people? I, male 35, am a very honest person. You're not. I'm just gonna stop right here. You're not an honest person. You're an asshole. You can be honest without being an asshole. I don't even need to... I'm still gonna, but I don't need to read anymore. I already know you're the asshole. People who start with, I'm a very honest person. No, you just lack the tact and etiquette to tell someone that you don't like something. Okay. You're just trying to excuse yourself for being an asshole, It's like saying no offense before everything you're gonna say is gonna be offensive. Ah. I, male 35, am a very honest person. Sure you are. Sure you are. My girlfriend Sam, female 30, and I have been together for 8 months. Sam told me she's a writer, but she's never shown me any of her work. She's not rich by any means, but she does make enough to live rather comfortably. I have asked multiple times, and she eventually agreed to show me one of her books. I was excited, but soon my excitement turned into disappointment. It was awful. Some trashy romance novel with shit writing. Apparently, she published 20 of similar ones, and they sell well. I was shocked. I told her that I'm sorry, but her writing was bad. I'm sorry, I'm laughing because the dumbassery of this man. Well, she's only published 20 of them and they sell well, but clearly my opinion is more, important and is just more evolved. It was awful. Some trashy romance novel with shit writing. Apparently she published 20 of similar ones and they sell well. I was shocked. I told her that I'm sorry, but her writing was bad. She said it's not bad, just average. She knows she's not the best writer, but it's the plot that matters and she has an editor. I said it's still bad and she should be ashamed that she charged people for that. She got all mad and called me a prick and told me she wanted to be left alone. I don't know what I've done wrong. She knows I'm honest. My sister thinks I was the asshole, but I'm confused. My girlfriend should know the truth and find a career path that will work for her and that she'll be good at. Am I the asshole for telling the truth? Who the fuck do you think you are? I want to fight you. Yeah, you're the asshole. There's infinite ways to say something is not for you or that you don't like it without being an asshole and saying that she should be ashamed to charge people for that. Fuck you. Fuck you. Alright? You should be ashamed. Just go home. That was just rude. Your sister's right and your girlfriend's right. You're a prick. Alright? That's just rude. And now I'm angry. I wish I had a nice one to end on, but that's the last one I have. Rude, sir. Very, very rude. Whew. That was a ride. I'm sorry we didn't have a nicer note to end on. That guy's an asshole. Let me know what you guys think about all these lovely people in the comments below, and I will see you guys next week. Let's spread way more love than we saw today. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.